Okay, so have you ever really thought about what money is? I mean, it's more than just some paper or coins, right? It's this incredible idea, an invention that completely changed how humans interact. So today, we're going to dive into the amazing story of money, right from the very beginning to the complex system we use every single day. All right, just imagine this for a second. You've just finished your favorite video game, you're starving, and all you want is a pizza. Simple enough. But what if there was no money? You'd have to find a pizza guy who not only has a pizza ready for you, but who also just so happens to want your old video game. That sounds like a huge hassle, right? Well, for a long, long time, that's exactly how the world worked.
So that whole trading system, it has a name. It's called the barter system. And it was pretty much our first shot at doing business. You know, you've got a cow, I've got some grain, let's make a deal. It seems straightforward on the surface, doesn't it? But as we just saw with our little pizza problem, it had a massive, massive flaw.
And that massive flaw has a pretty fancy name: the lack of double coincidence of wants. It sounds complicated, but it's actually super simple. It just means that for a trade to work, you have to find someone who has exactly what you want and who wants exactly what you have at the same time. Think about how much time and effort that would take. It was just not a great system.
So clearly, people needed a better way. And this timeline shows you the incredible evolution of that better way. We started with bartering. Then we tried using common items, like cattle or sheep, as a kind of early money. After that, we got the idea to use metals like gold and silver. And finally, we landed on paper money, which is what we're all used to. Let's break down how each of these steps was a huge upgrade. Okay, so the first huge leap forward was metallic money. People figured out, hey, what if we use something that everyone agrees is valuable? Things like gold and silver. This ancient Indian coin you see here is a perfect example of that idea in action. All of a sudden, you didn't have to worry about finding someone who wanted your specific cow or your grain. You could just give them a piece of metal that they knew was worth something. But just having chunks of metal wasn't enough. The next brilliant idea was to standardize them. So they started making coins with a specific weight and purity. This was a game changer. It meant you could easily break down value, have smaller coins for smaller purchases. And let's be honest, carrying a few coins in your pocket is way, way easier than dragging a sheep around town. Of course, every solution seems to create a new problem, right? Think about it. Carrying around all your money in a heavy bag of gold and silver coins, not only is that a pain, but it also makes you a pretty tempting target for thieves. It was just unsafe and super inconvenient. So humanity needed another upgrade. And that upgrade was paper money. Now, this was a truly revolutionary idea. I mean, think about it. A gold coin is valuable because it's made of gold. But a piece of paper, it's just paper. Its value comes entirely from trust, a shared belief, a promise that it's worth something. And the trade-off was totally worth it. It was light, easy to carry, and way safer for big purchases. And that's exactly what a bank note is, a promise. If you actually look at a note, like this 5 rupee one here, you'll see it written right on there. I promise to pay the bearer the sum. It's literally a promise from a super trusted authority, the central bank, backed by the government, saying, yep, this piece of paper is legit, it's worth what it says it is. But the story doesn't stop with paper. Money just kept getting more and more abstract. The next step was the check. Now, a check isn't actually money itself. It's more like a note you write to your bank. It's a formal instruction that says, hey bank, please take this amount of money out of my account and give it to this other person. Pretty clever, huh?
And from the check, it's a short hop to something we all have in our wallets, the debit card. This just takes the idea one step further into the digital world. Now you don't even need the paper. It's just a piece of plastic that lets you move money from your account to a shop's account, like instantly, electronically. No physical stuff changes hands at all.
Okay, so this brings up a really, really important question. We've got paper notes, which are promises, and electronic money, which is just data. So who's in charge of all this? Who makes sure the whole system actually works and that everyone's trust isn't misplaced?
Well, that's the job of a country's central bank. Here in India, that's the Reserve Bank of India, or the RBI. You can think of them as the ultimate manager, the big boss of all the money and banks in the country. Their job is to make sure everything runs smoothly so that you can trust the money you use every day.
And let me tell you, the RBI has some huge jobs. First off, they're the only ones who can actually print the currency notes we use. They're also the government's personal banker. Plus, they supervise all the other banks in the country to make sure they're playing by the rules. They control the flow of money in the economy, and they look after India's big stash of foreign currency. They're basically the backbone of our entire financial world. All right, so we know its history and we know who's in charge. But let's get back to a fundamental question. What does money actually do for us? Turns out it has three main jobs.
First up, and this is the big one, money is a medium of exchange. That just means it's the tool we use to buy and sell stuff. It's what lets you trade your work for, say, a pizza, without having to find a pizza guy who wants you to do your homework for him. It completely solves that whole double coincidence of wants headache we talked about at the beginning.
Second, money is a measure of value. Think of it like a ruler or a yardstick for worth. It lets us put a price tag on things. We know a pen costs 10 rupees and a book costs 200. It makes it super easy to compare the value of things that are totally different. You don't have to sit there trying to figure out how many pens one book is worth. The price tells you.
And number 3, money is a store of value. This means you can save it and it will still be valuable later. You can earn money today and spend it next week, next month, or even next year. Your wealth doesn't just vanish. And the example here is perfect. If your wealth is a fish, you better use it quick before it spoils. But if your wealth is money, you can store it for as long as you want.
So when you step back and look at it, it's an incredible journey, isn't it? We went from trading actual cows to shiny coins to paper promises, and now to just tapping a card or a phone. The entire story of money has been about making trade easier, faster, and more secure. So it really makes you wonder, right? With how fast technology is changing, what do you think money will look like in the future?